everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Why You Need an Organic Social Media Strategy for Your Brand. Firstly, thank you for joining us today. My name is Courtney Sandor and I'm the Events Assistant here at Realise Business. So Realise Business is a leading social enterprise empowering people to successfully run a business. Through our events, we bring our advisors, presenters and members together to share their expert knowledge in the interest of helping each other to learn and grow to their highest potential. So before we get started, I'm just going to run through some quick housekeeping points. So let us know if you're having any audio or video issues in the chat box. Ask us any questions at any time, You can use the chat box to ask these questions, and we will be having a Q&A at the end of the session. And this session is being recorded, and you will be able to find the recording of it at the City of Ryde website. And this webinar today is brought to you by the City of Ryde and funded by New South Wales Treasury for the Small Business Month. So now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Realise Business Advisor and Marketing Expert, Sarah Berry.
Thank you, Courtney. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, Why You Need an Organic Social Media Strategy for Your Brand. And I do like my workshops to be interactive, so please make sure you shoot any questions that you have into your chat box there. Okay, so as Courtney just ran through, Realise Business is a not-for-profit, and this webinar is brought to you today through the City of Ryde and Small Business Month. So my name is Sarah Berry. As mentioned, I am a Realise Business Advisor and coach and marketing strategist. I work as a sounding board and accountability partner for many of my clients, and my goal is to teach you how to sharpen your strategy, tighten your focus, increase your reach, and grow your business. The most important thing I work to deliver with my clients is a strong marketing capability, not marketing dependency. And by that I mean is that I like to teach you so that you are confident and understand how to deliver marketing in your own business to reach your goals and flourish. So I'm a marketing professional with 3 decades of experience across a number of industries, including hospitality, retail and professional services. I am the owner of Marketing Sense, celebrated my 8th year in business this year, and a specialist in transforming and building brands during a period of transformation and disruption. So specifically, I'm experienced in working with small businesses to identify ways in which their business can cost effectively grow their brand and increase their relevance to the customer and sustainably grow their business. So the aim of today is to really take you through social media. Now, most of us are aware that social media are rapidly becoming pay to play, and in order to reach your audience, you need to pay. But today I'm going to unearth a few tips and tricks on how to use your social media through unpaid, also known as organic social media strategies. So having a social media presence for your business is vital for building your brand, showcasing your values, building trust, and creating awareness. So in this 1-hour webinar, I would like to show you how to improve your unpaid social media reach and engagement, and how to create an organic social strategy in a pay-to-play world. So starting off, first, it's really important to point out that social media is part of the digital marketing mix. Not all of it, it's part of it. And within that, we've got a nice little acronym here, PESO. Paid, earned, shared, paid, earned, shared, and owned. And here's a little framework that I put together. So here you can see 4 quadrants with earned, paid, owned, and shared in each quadrant. So the purpose of your digital marketing strategy is to have a mix of each of those. So each of these enable your prospects and your clients to get to know, like, and trust you. So the basic idea is that some channels, your website and social media platforms, coupled with different content types assist in the customer's journey, where they come to know you, like you, and trust you. So at each stage in the process of your prospect coming to know, like, and trust your business, you are building brand awareness, customer relationships, clarity on your service offerings, credibility with your client, visibility, engagement, and long-term organic SEO so that you are found on Google. So I'm just going to skim through today. Oh, sorry. Oh dear, I've skipped forward a slide and I'll probably mess it up by going backwards. So I'm just going to stick on this one now. So the first part of this is paid. So paid media is the media that you pay for, like Google AdWords, Facebook advertising, pay-per-click, or any other types of search or display advertising. So when you use paid, you need to have clear calls to action, and the use of keywords and content needs to address the platforms or solutions that your potential customer is looking for. So the clear advantage of using paid advertising online is targeting capability. So Facebook and Google have access to a great deal of data on behavior that you can leverage from when you're looking to target your customer. So you can also use the data to understand your advertising with a view to getting it more accurate over time. So certainly Facebook and Google can provide access to powerful resources that help you to make insightful business decisions. Okay, so then moving on to earned. So earned media is basically online PR and media relations. So if owned media sites are the destination, then earned media is a vehicle that helps people get there. So what good is a website, for example, or social media if no one is seeing or interacting with it? So that's where earned media comes in. Earned media is essentially online word of mouth, usually seen in the form of mentions, shared, reposts, reviews, recommendations, or any other content that is picked up by third-party sites. So on to owned. So owned media is the most important in your digital marketing strategy, and it is the center of all things digital engagement as your website. So it is your content hub and where you provide all the answers to your clients on their decision-making journey. So the more owned media you have, so in essence, the more content you have, the greater your digital presence is. So in this instance, your content, including your blog, helps to boost your search engine optimization, which improves your ranking. So especially when you're looking at using relevant keywords. So your website is your opportunity to share everything you have identified through the marketing process, what makes your organization different, clarify your services, address the client's pain points, and how the client's life will be improved through the use of your service should all be explained through your website and your blog content, which is your owned media. And on to the final, your shared. And this is obviously the main focus. I wanted to take you through the other parts of Peso today so that you had an understanding of the context. But shared media is where we're going to be spending the time this morning in unpacking social media and word of mouth referrals. So shared media primarily encompasses using social media, your social media, to distribute your content, including basically it helps your audience and guides them back to your site, which is why I talked about owned. Having a website is the goal. Using shared media gets these prospects and clients to your website. So as a small business owner, we all know that the wonderful free lunch that was social media is long gone. And largely these days, to be seen on Facebook, you do need to look at ways to prime the algorithm. So this does mean there is a lot of effort needed on posting super engaging content that really go about building your brand and your brand story as a priority to your actual sell. So for those of you that are sitting out there today talking about how the fact that you're getting very little interactions, engagement on your social media, don't be disappointed. As I said, Facebook is now, and a lot of the platforms, not just Facebook, are now becoming pay to play. But that doesn't mean that you don't use your social media to show the personality and the personal side of your business. So posting on Facebook, as I mentioned, also helps with your SEO and helps your customers move through their decision-making process. So you're using social media with the goal of building your business's brand. And so you're attracting people to your brand with your social presence, with the idea of getting more eyes on your content, which will then bring them back to your website. So there are a number of social media platforms today, as you know, without wasting too much time going through them all in detail. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. I'm not going to cover all of these today. That is something obviously that you would need to look at in a one-on-one session, but I'm going to go through some of the more popular ones and really unpack some of the tips and tricks around how to get engagement on your social media. So one of the things that you need to be aware of is that Facebook, according to the Yellow Social Media Report of 2020, is the most popular platform, followed now by YouTube, watched by over 54% of Australians. I do think that this is going to increase quite a lot when this report comes out next year. Given the amount of time that people that have spent at home this year, I think YouTube is definitely going to have seen an increase in use. But what we do most importantly have to remember, and I'm sitting in the corner of this, so it's not a very good place to have it. So number one here, reason for using social media is to catch up with friends and family, and that's sitting at 83%. So think about why you yourself use social media. For both men and women, really is a way of keeping in touch. Second, with quite a low decrease in percentage, is sharing photos or videos at 39%. And when it comes to sharing on social media, women are more likely to post photos or videos than men. The other popular reasons for people using social media is to watch videos, finding or connecting with people who have similar interests is at 31%, and catching up on news and current affairs is at 30%. What's important to understand here is if we scroll all the way down almost to the bottom, we can see that only 11% actually use social media to engage with brands. So that's why it's really important to understand where social media fits in your overall sales and marketing strategy. So when you're busy running your business, it's impossible to find time to be active on every social media. And I went through the list, and you know there's quite a long list, and also multiple ways of sharing on those platforms as well now. So it is overwhelming, I will admit. So narrowing down your choice to just a few platforms will really allow you to focus your efforts and get the best return on your time investment. And really, there are a number of ways of doing this in a smart way, which I'm going to unpack today. And that is identifying your target market, understanding their needs, and then you're able to really pick the best platform for you. So for today, I've created a nice little framework for you. Feel free to take a screenshot. So this is really the social media funnel that I'm going to spend the next half an hour taking you through and unpacking today. But if you just have a little photograph of this in your mind and try and remember when you're doing your content, it's important to get a nice mixture of content across each phase of this funnel and really understand each part of this funnel and how it works in your business. So we have at the top of the funnel, awareness. So here you really need to grab the attention of your audience and create a strong first impression. So the goal here is to get attention, grab your audience. You know, really the best way to do this is to know your ideal client so that your content is relevant and resonates. Next down in the funnel is engagement. So the prospect is now aware of your brand, and the next phase is nurturing them and engaging them and trying to be memorable. So, you know, we live in a sea of likeness, and what you need to do here is make your customers remember you. Next phase down, and the most crucial stage for all of us that are using social media as part of our business strategy, is the acquisition phase. So here, as a marketer, it falls on you to nudge your prospective customers to really take action. So this is where you need to think about the whole strategy, and in particular your website. So what is an acquisition? What does an acquisition strategy or action actually mean to you in a business? It could be take the form of signing up to a newsletter, a free trial, downloading a brochure, or making a purchase. And to actually understand this a little bit more in detail, I have created a blog which is available on my website, all about product ladders. So again, that's one of those things that we can talk about in more detail in a one-on-one session, or feel free to head over to my website and take a look at that blog about product ladders in order to get a better understanding of the type of acquisition techniques you can use. Next step down, and actually also not to forget, within acquisition, for Facebook and advertising, if you want to do any kind of retargeting, you should make sure that you have the Facebook pixel installed on your website so that you can retarget using Facebook or Instagram. So the next one down is loyalty. So once a customer has purchased, you need to work really, really hard to retain them. The reason being is it's actually 3 to 10 times less in terms of cost than acquiring a new one to keep them loyal. So once a customer has made a purchase from you, is the time that you really need to step up your marketing efforts to make them a regular. And one really good way of doing this is to use your social media to provide really amazing customer service and to show your client love. And finally, last but not least, this is actually my favorite part of the funnel, is advocacy. So this is where you turn your loyal customers into your advocates. We all know, right, that people trust a brand recommended by their friends and family. And this part of the funnel is really coming into play more and more, and something I will obviously go into in more detail. So create a community of belonging to foster an emotional connection with your brand. Okay, so let's have a little look more at awareness. So I mentioned the most important part of getting awareness is to produce content that is relevant and engaging. So the goal here is to really see things from your customer's perspective. One of the things I see day in, day out working as a coach and as a marketing advisor is people tend to think about their communication in a very internal way. You need to really think about what it is that your business offers to your client and really try and get inside their heads. Spend a day in the life of your customer. This is an exercise that I do with my customers all the time. Really get to know who they are, the psychographics and the demographics of their behavior. So understanding goals, challenges, frustrations, and how your product or service helps your client is paramount. Cannot stress that more. Those of you that know me and have worked with me before know that I love to use this buyer persona exercise avatar. We also now use another technique called jobs to be done. But basically, this really is the place where you need to do the homework. This is something I still do myself in my own business. I have 2 whiteboards, one here and a portable one down here, and I use them all the time to reshape and reconfigure who my client is. And this is really knowing the mind of your customer and spending some time understanding their challenges, what you might hear them say in relation to their frustrations, and how you might overcome some and help them achieve some of their challenges. So let's have a look at some good examples of how to create awareness. So this is an ad from Worldwide Breast Cancer. And you can see here, this is something that is going to immediately stop you in the feed. It's colourful. It's actually a little bit left of centre. You know, why are there lemons in an egg carton? And so straight away, this is grabbing the audience's attention. So breast cancer is the most common cancer in women. And so they use this awareness campaign, Know Your Lemons, really as a way to encourage women to check for the signs of breast cancer. And you can see from this, it's really tongue in cheek. They also, at the bottom, you can see, where is the hashtag? Somewhere on there, may not be on there. They used actually a hashtag called Know Your Lemons, and created a platform where survivors were telling their story. And also, you know, you can see by the use of the lemons, it's just a very tongue-in-cheek way of dealing with a very serious subject matter. So what can you learn from this? That even the most difficult of topics can be made visual and engaging. Using the lemon imagery was done so that the symptoms and signs of breast cancer could be quickly identified by users, meaning they could catch the eye of the scrolling generation and even those like myself with poor eyesight. Okay, moving on to another example. Innocent Juices, a favourite of mine. Again, people that work with me, these are one of the big brands. It's a UK brand that I do like to highlight. They do some great work. And this was an Instagram post where over 3,000 people took to comments. And what Innocent did was basically created this campaign around saying that the drink was blue. Like, this is really simple stuff here. It's tasty, it's blue, it's good for you, and it's blue. And then what started was a whole people jumping on the post to actually say, hey, it's not actually blue, it's in fact green. And later on, I don't know, I actually saw some of these. There was a boy band around the time actually called Blue, and they used the singer from the boy band to appear in their video, asserting that the drink was actually blue. So again, quite simple, but managed to encourage a lot of awareness and engagement. Another one of my favorites, although I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks, this was one that caught my eye, and I can't remember whether it was, I think it must be not last summer, the summer before, and mainly because this is their unicorn frappuccino campaign, and you can see immediately how this would get awareness on someone scrolling on Facebook. Beautiful, bright colours and really intriguing. So this really was, I remember my daughter at the time being into unicorns, and I, as I said, I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks, and I actually messaged the page to say, hey, you know, where can we get this? We don't have a local Starbucks. Are they doing this in Sydney? And it actually turned out this was only something that they were doing in America at the time. So the whole feed for a week was basically taken over by the bright colours, glitter, and all things unicorns, which at the time was, you know, the thing of the year. So the campaign was hugely successful. and generated more than 155,000 posts from customers who are just wanting to go out and try the Frappuccino. So this actually is an example of how you can build campaigns around themed products. I remember, probably going back 5 or 6 years ago, and there's another one I use when I'm doing these types of webinars, was the freak shakes. There was a business in Canberra developed these weird looking freak shakes. Some of you may remember. So they're a great way of really getting some good engagement, awareness and interaction from your followers. So next here, I've actually just highlighted a couple of video platforms, but the point to make here is at an awareness level, the social media algorithm on all platforms right now loves video. Both long form and short form videos are the most shared content on social media. Unbelievably, 1,200% more shares than text and image updates. And this is one of those things that I talk about a lot now in my one-on-one coaching is, how can you quickly create video? Here I'm sharing a couple of platforms. One is Wave Video and the other is Biteable. I've actually created videos myself quickly, cost effectively and efficiently using the Biteable platform. It is actually also an Australian platform, an Australian startup. And the other one that you can see there on your left is the Wave Video platform, which is an online video editor and creator. So, the cost of creating videos is certainly within the reach of most small business owners today. So I urge you to get on there and make some videos. Now, I had actually organised for this to play live, but I realised I'm going to have to come in and out to show you. But basically what I wanted to talk about here was Instagram Reels. Anyone using Reels yet? Hands up. So like I mentioned, there are endless platforms and endless ways of using them. Instagram stories, Reels. You can now share TikToks to Reels. That's the latest thing to do. But basically Instagram Reels allow you to create short videos via the stories feature. So if you're on Instagram, go up to stories and then you can record a reel from there. This actually only launched a couple of months ago and is the latest thing. And you can create bite-sized videos and actually edit them in the app. Ideally, I think it's 15 seconds long, not long at all is the maximum. And then you share it to your feed. Reels are not like stories, that stories disappear. Reels actually stay, so they're evergreen content. And the idea is to really just communicate one key idea or message. Okay, so you're wondering why bother? The reason I would strongly recommend that you jump onto Reels is because they are great right now for reach and discovery. So they're an opportunity to be seen and also to find a new audience. And the reason for this is because they are currently being shared to the Instagram Explore page, which is something that you'll be familiar with. That's where all the reels and videos all come up. So what this means is that it's actually really good for getting new followers, because right now the algorithm is favoring reels. I'm going to keep moving rather than show you this one. But this was just a cute, like I said, it was 15 seconds. And this was clearly a solopreneur, and she basically was jumping in and out of different business outfits, taking on different roles within the business. So it was a really quick and easy way of getting awareness. Okay, so another way to get really good awareness is through a live video on Facebook. So this is just really nice screenshot of me in my own Facebook group, Making Sense of Marketing. The reason we would do lives at the moment is because, like Facebook Reels, this is a platform which is really rewarded by the algorithms. You actually do now, luckily, have the opportunity to review and delete, so it's not live like it was initially. The bonus to doing live videos, apart from the fact that the algorithm is currently rewarding them, it's also a great way to actually get immediate interaction with your followers and fans. So they can react, comment, share, post questions while you're actually live. So it's interactive. So you can talk right back as people are watching and engaging with you as the broadcast actually goes out. So it's really good interactive content. Okay, so moving on. To the next part in the funnel, which is engagement. So the customer is now aware that you exist as a choice among all the other brands. And so now you're really looking to get interaction. So if you've been managing a Facebook page for a while, you know that organic reach is in decline. And we all know that the best way to get engagement is to get people to interact with your posts. So in 2011, Facebook abandoned the EdgeRank algorithm and is now favoring interaction. So content that performs well, as I mentioned, are native and live videos. Also, if content is shared over Facebook Messenger, obviously if the content is liked or commented on, and if it receives multiple replies, it shows that there's an interaction between users. So engagement is critical for organic social media. So what do you need to do to make the algorithm work for you? So 5 tips for working with the Facebook algorithm. Start conversations that get people talking to each other. This is really, really important. So the key ranking signals is interaction. So the best way to earn engagement is to be genuine, be funny, be curious, be interesting or inspiring. And probably best not to seek out too much controversy. Tapping into a strong emotions will do the trick. So just experiment. If you haven't been using social media confidently, experiment, have a play. You can always use your insights to look and see what sort of posts are getting the best interactions. But the most important thing is to start conversations that get people talking to each other. The other thing is to post when your audience is online. Again, not going to go into great detail. We are against the ticking clock today, but you can see on your own phone, you can look into your insights on all of your platforms to see when you're getting the best engagement. Generally, the feedback is that business to business brand posts perform best between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And business to consumer brand posts perform best at noon on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I found that information online and it was repeated. So that is something to take into consideration, but I would always go back to your own analytics. Okay, so never post content that will get you down ranked. So you've got to be really careful with any fake news, misleading information. There was a period there where there was a lot of clickbait type of content. Obviously with Cambridge Analytica, a lot of that has now gone. But yes, just be very careful. Don't post anything that's likely to get you down ranked. Also videos, as I've already mentioned, high quality videos, actually longer than 3 minutes, are also now seen to be quite valuable for the Facebook algorithm. A lot of people are watching past the 1 minute mark, but really no longer than 3 minutes. And then obviously what you can do is repurpose those videos for other platforms. And the other thing, very importantly, should come under as number 2 under starting conversation: post often and consistently. One of the ways that you can look at doing that is to create some macro content, which would be like a blog, and then create micro pieces of content from the macro content for your social media. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking. I do apologize. The wonders of live webinar, right? So consistently and often. So don't just sort of post manically for a week and then disappear for 2 months. I try myself in my own business to show up at least 3 times a week across my platforms. Okay, so also in engagement, looking at this here, this is a competition. So this is, you can see here, like versus share. So what we're looking to do here is have 2 simple options that make it really, really easy for someone to engage with your content. I particularly, when I was scrolling through to find some examples, this is actually a Walmart one, but I liked the use of the images. And it's nice and big there, so it makes it really easy for whoever's scrolling through to see what they've got to do. The other thing about this is the seasonal relevance. This was obviously shared during the spring and summertime, during a time when people are already thinking about, making this type of purchase. This again comes back to your larger strategy. And then the other thing that's really useful with this type of post is the re-engagement aspect of it. So if you've ever entered into some kind of competition or something, you want to check back and see, how the content or the contest is running. So for you, how can you make this work for you? Think of 2 similar products that you sell that appeal to people with different tastes, and then just do a very similar type of post. You could also use it just for general things that aren't even related to business. So Batman or Spider-Man, Facebook or Instagram, some of those sorts of things. So this is another type of post that you can use to get engagement, called the poll, or an opinion poll. So this one here is really, really simple. Instead of choosing a boring, pick the one you like, they've gone for some really appealing language here. So which flat is your favorite for fall? Obviously this is an American one, but you can change it to suit yourself. And this post is, great call to action, really clear what you've got to do. And you can see on this has got a really, really great engagement. Another one that's really good for engagement is giving a sneak peek. So giving a sneak peek is one of the more complex Facebook posts, but it's got a good lasting time. So simply find something that your users haven't seen to offer a preview. So you can look at a project or campaign you're developing, a product that you just got into stock, or if you've got a really exciting blog or new announcement coming up, 7 tips to saving. So any upcoming development, product, or even new hire, new staff member can be used with the sneak peek post. In fact, many social media experts use these posts weeks in advance of a release date. So not only do they gain followers, but it also really helps to hype whatever it is that you're going to be introducing. One of the things I want to say on engagement is, with the whole pay to play and the algorithm working as it is, hopefully I've given you some ideas about how to encourage engagement. But we do also need to remember that a large proportion of social medias are what we call silent users. They're lurkers. So they're consuming your content, but they're not necessarily responding. And again, you can see this. One of my favorite platforms is LinkedIn. And quite often there'll be posts that I'll get a lot of engagement on and others that I'll get nothing. But I can see that they have been viewed and clicked on by the analytics. So don't always assume because someone isn't engaging with you that they're not connecting and building a connection with you. It just means that they're watching quietly. Okay, conscious of time, quickly moving on. Okay, so acquisition. In the acquisition part of the funnel, Glossier is a really good example of a company that just does all of this really, really well. And what I'm using here is an example to show a concept called prosumers instead of consumers, we're prosumers. I never know how to say it. Anyway, basically, a prosumer has developed meaning professional consumer to meaning product and brand advocate. So in this Facebook post here, or this post here, we can see where they're actually just using real women to market their product. Glossier was actually one of the early innovators of using their customers and clients as micro-influencers or super fans, as they're called. So Glossier's CEO, Emily Weiss, her actual mantra and reason for setting up the business was to actually get women involved in the business and feeding back what they liked and didn't like, and being really involved as brand advocates to shape the company and their offerings. So also in acquisition, another really, really important thing that I see done not very well quite often is to make it easy for your prospects to find your website on your social media. So here is Linktree, and on here you can see by using Linktree, there's lots of opportunities to click on these and then be directed back to a website. And this is actually found in your bio on Instagram. If you can see it here underneath the profile, you actually can use Linktree for free, and that helps to get people back to your website. Another important aspect of acquisition these days is the creation of Facebook shops. So shops make it easy for businesses to set up a single online store on both Facebook and Instagram. And what I've got here, for those of you that are interested, you can actually just go to Facebook's learning platform, Blueprint, I think it's called. And there's lots of information in here about how to set up your Facebook and Instagram shop. And you can actually customize the look and feel with the cover image using your brand colors. So here is an example. This is ink meets paper. And this is an example of their Facebook shop. So on Instagram, there is a little section called stories. You can see at the top there, those little circles. So if your current audience likes Instagram, use the stories feature. This is really, really powerful for acquisition. You can also now save your stories. So you can see those little stickers at the top there, the circles. That's where they've actually been saved under various categories. So you can share content such as tutorials, behind the scenes, and some of those sorts of things. Next but last, I'm really going to have to speak really, really quickly. Loyalty. So depending on the industry you're in, retaining a current customer, as I mentioned, can cost you 3 to 10 times less than acquiring a new one. So it is really important to pay attention to how you're using your social media funnel. So this is about encouraging customer reviews. One of the things that I do know about millennials is that they're really keen to be involved in your products and services. They want to help you to shape new products and services. So include your customers and clients in your process and be responsive. Every time I see an unresponded to comment on a social media page, a little bit of me dies inside. So, it's amazing if people are commenting, comment back, always engage, with your loyal customers, talk to them. So here is an example. It's a big brand example. Well, it's difficult to find some smaller brand examples, which is what is my preference. But this is Marriott Hotels, and they actually have a separate page for their loyalty members here, which is called Marriott Bonvoy. So they share their Bonvoy loyalty page to their hotel page to show the exclusive offers that their members are able to get. So you can use your social platforms to offer rewards, incentives, and discounts to your loyal customers. This is another great example of loyalty. This is my Shell Beauty, and this is a great promotional tool. So this is called the Clean Beauty Club program. And you can see here, they've shared a really bold image on their Instagram account. In their copy, in their captioning, they've been really clear about the value of their loyalty program. They've got some great eye-catching color, enthusiastic caption, letting their loyal customers know how the program works. And these sorts of posts can be really quickly created. Those of you who haven't already used Canva, it's quick and easy to create these types of posts. And if you have seen any of my social media, well, I've shared some of it today, but I do all of my content creation through Canva. So those of you who aren't using, get on to Canva. Another example of loyalty, one of my favorite brands on social media, Patagonia. And so here, a good way of really creating loyalty with your customers is sharing your company values. So your company's fundamental principles really will encourage brand loyalty from people with similar beliefs. So create posts about the causes and charities that are part of your business and what your brand stands for. So this is a Patagonia example here, and obviously most of us would know they have made environmentalism a really important part of their brand identity. So Southwest Airlines is another one that does come up over and over. And using your socials as an opportunity to offer amazing customer service. This is one of the things that I think small businesses can really, really leverage from. So I've talked about responding quickly to comments, queries, and messages. That is a really clear path to creating loyalty, and good old-fashioned customer service. So people will switch brands following a poor customer service experience, and your social media is a big part of this. So you can see here, this guy has posted onto their page, and they've replied straight away with the query. So another way to encourage loyalty is through a private Facebook group. So they're really good for building connection and ongoing relationships. So this is I do have my own Facebook group, Making Sense of Marketing. And in your own Facebook group, you can create a real one-on-one connection with your advocates. And this will really help them to feel appreciated and increase the likelihood that they will stay engaged and active. I had a whole bunch more to say about that, but I'm running out of time, so I'm skipping on. The other really important thing with anything to do with social media or your brand generally is to maintain a consistent identity across all your platforms. Please, 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 if you learn nothing else from today, go and have a look at your platforms and make sure that you are showing up consistently and easy to identify across platforms. So if someone finds you on your website, can they easily find you on Facebook or Instagram? If they find you on Instagram, can they then easily find you on LinkedIn? Okay, so maintaining consistency in both your design and your tone of voice is really, really crucial. Eliminates any kind of confusion. Finally, advocacy, and my favorite part, and probably something that you'll want to talk about more if you book me for a one-on-one coaching session. Advocacy is how you turn loyal customers into proactive advocates for your business. And word of mouth, so recommendations by your friends or family, has and always will be the most powerful form of advertising. So 92% of consumers believe suggestions from friends and family more than advertising. So you need to really understand your super fans and engage them. You probably don't need to look also any further than your employees. If you've got even 1 or 2 employees, to find a group of social media advocates. So your employees are more likely to speak on your behalf, of course, because they're invested in your business's success. So looking at advocacy, you can see from this, the good old days of customers listening to you, blah, 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 with your marketing pitch are going. So social media is very much about recommendations sorry, I should say, generally word of mouth marketing has always been important. But with the rapid communication of social media, it's on steroids. So you can see sitting at there, 92% recommend from people I know. So, you know, it's really important that your marketing strategy embraces the idea that your customers are really becoming an integral part of your marketing. Oops, sorry, touched the wrong button. Okay. So again, I do have a blog on my website that you can have a look at, but also this is something that we can work on one-on-one together, conscious of time. There is a framework that I have that goes through this whole unlocking the power of word of mouth marketing that I'm happy to talk through in more detail. So advocacy, look at Glossier. This is a company that knows this really, really well. So the main thing Glossier stands for is the power of the individual to choose their own style, to make connections with other people, to ask questions, to understand better the things that they may want. So Glossier exists purely to serve what we hear from those people about what they want. And this is very much in the DNA of their company. And in wrapping up, really what I wanted to talk about in terms of advocacy, social word of mouth, has a lot to do with this new generation of disruptive brands that are really shaking up business. I'm sure all of you have seen Koala. Koala are a brand that know their customers really, really well. They invest in an engaging and aspirational brand. They build their cultures, values and ethos into the business from the ground up, right? And they develop exceptional end-to-end customer service experiences, and they use technology to deliver it. So they also combine clever storytelling with paid advertising, and they use social media not just as a marketing channel, but as a way to interact with their customers. So hopefully, you know, what you can see from Koala and Glossier and some of the people that I've highlighted, businesses that I've highlighted today, is the importance of building a solid brand and genuine relationships with your customers and creating an exceptional online as well as offline experience through using your social media platforms. So in some ways, it's kind of like a little bit of a switch to think differently about how you actually use your social media platforms. I'm sorry, I had to rush through the end there. Lots and lots of content. Courtney, I'm going to hand back over to you now because we've got about 4 minutes if anyone's got any questions. But just remember that if you do need help, any help with your marketing, you can book in for your free 4-hour advisory with me. Thanks, Courtney.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah. What a great presentation. As Sarah mentioned, we do have a couple of minutes. So if you do have any questions, just pop them in the chat box and we'll get through them. So we did have a couple come through. So we had one from Selena, which she's got, what can I do to increase the followers quickly at the very beginning when I only have a few followers?
Oh, how long is a piece of string? What platform, I guess, is important? I'm going to guess we're looking at Instagram in this case. Obviously, one of the things I mentioned today was Reels. Also stories, using Reels and stories. If you're doing Reels, make sure you use all of your 30 hashtags. Spend some time doing some research on your hashtags. Include a nice combination of ones with big followers, but also ones that are relevant to your business, and also some local hashtags. But yeah, that's something I'd be happy to discuss a bit more in a one-on-one session. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight. But really, I think creating some engaging content, sit and think creatively and what you can execute, something that's bright, colourful, and really resonates with your target audience. Who are your target audience? That's the first thing.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And I know you just mentioned hashtags just in your answer there. When it comes to sort of hashtags, how many would you recommend, say if it was on Instagram, how many?
30. So you can post 30 and you should post 30. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we've got another question. So would a B2B professional business be better off in LinkedIn or Facebook?
Okay, so I do, as a professional services company myself, I do post on all, but in terms of the best results, 100% LinkedIn works for me. But on my personal profile, I do have a company page, which I've spent the last month or so trying to build some engagement and followings on. But by and large, LinkedIn for me on your personal profile, but also Facebook is really, really valuable from a customer service perspective. And also having a Facebook group is also quite valuable. So I'd say those three are key for me.
Yeah, okay, great. So Anna had a question. So what can a time poor sole trader do quickly to increase social marketing? So I know you sort of briefly covered that, but
I think pick your platform and then put some energy into that. So really that is a strategic type of question. But I think really fundamentally knowing your clients and knowing what they want from you and how you can use that platform to offer that. So remember, social media can also be a channel for your customer service. I know for me, I never ever ring a cafe or a restaurant now. I always use Facebook Messenger. So just think about how you can use social media smartly, not just for posting content, but for other things as well.
Okay, great. So we probably have time for one more question. So it came through from Anna. So she's got, how do you research hashtags?
I do have a blog on that on my thing, which is I've actually got a search bar on my blog page. So I could just put in Instagram for business. So have a look at that, because it is quite convoluted process depending on your type of business, and there are actually a few free apps that you can use as well. Hashtagify was one. I'm not sure if you can still use that for free, but to be honest with you, immersion in your competitors, your business, you know, just really, what I would do is I would sit on Instagram, Facebook, and all of the, my competitors, as well as people that I admire in my profession, and I would look and see what they're doing.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much again, Sarah, for your presentation. Is there any sort of one final thought that you'd like to leave everyone with today?
Oh, no, not really. Hopefully
No? Okay.
I've covered as much as I can. I can see that the chat box is going mental. Maybe if we're able to collect some of those questions, I'd be happy to even, I don't know if you guys, you know, would want to, I'm happy to answer them in some form or another and share them if that's valuable. Sorry, I talk too much today.
No. It's a lot of information. So, well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for everyone that jumped on board and watched the presentation. We will also, just to let you know, have the recordings, all the recordings that we've done over the past month will be available on the City of Ryde website. So you'll be able to go on there and watch the recordings. But thanks again. Thanks, Sarah. And thank you to everyone that joined us today. See you later.
See ya.